Don't you wish some of the Wi-Fi tools could be consolidated? In this video, we're going to look at Ekahau Analyzer with the Sidekick. The Ekahau Analyzer app is for iOS, and it'll help you validate and troubleshoot the health of your Wi-Fi network. It can also be used as a spectrum analyzer. Now, before you go downloading the app, you'll need to have an Ekahau Sidekick like this one in order to collect most of that data. And that's because of the restrictions that are in place on the iOS software and also within the hardware itself, because the iOS hardware, the iPad and iPhone, cannot collect spectrum data. And so you're going to use the Ekahau Sidekick with a valid Ekahau Connect subscription in order to use Ekahau Analyzer. Now, to use Ekahau Analyzer, we're going to connect the Sidekick using this USB micro and USB cable on one end. And so the micro cable connects to the Sidekick. And then the other end of that USB cable, I'm going to plug into an adapter for my iPad. So the USB goes into one end and I have USB into the other. So I'm going to plug that into my iPad. Now, if you can find a native cable to go between your Sidekick and the iPad, then that's great. Now, talking about the requirements again, you need to be running iOS 12 or newer, have a valid Ekahau Connect subscription, and the Sidekick. So why don't we dive into the application itself and start looking at how Ekahau Analyzer can help you out. So here we are within Ekahau Analyzer. Right away, we see a couple of pass-fail indicators, and this is all based on this requirement profile that is set at the bottom. One of the things that could be confusing at first is knowing how to set this requirement profile, because by default it is set to voice and data, and by tapping on it you cannot click or change that profile. But the voice and data profile parameters are set here, the criteria. So you got your signal strength minimum, your secondary signal strength, SNR, channel interference, ping, and packet loss. Now here at the top right, you can see that my iPad is connected successfully, and that's going to be a requirement in order to populate almost every single one of these except for connectivity. Connectivity actually uses your Wi-Fi adapter on your iPad or iPhone. Now, one of the really neat things here is, again, seeing the easy and quick pass-fail indicators here, but I can see I've already failed signal strength. But we did see within the requirement profile that signal strength, I just needed a negative 67 or better, right? But I think I am failing signal strength because I don't have any secondary signal strength. And that isn't very clear here within Ekahau Analyzer as to what exactly you're failing or where you're failing. So if we tap on signal strength, we are given some visualizations here. I can see on both 2.4 and the 5 gigahertz spectrum where channels are being laid out, where those networks are occupying on the different frequencies here. So my network is a 40 megahertz wide network, and it's on channel 149, as you can see with that purple indicator there. And when you're looking at this, you can see all the networks, other SSIDs that are around, especially their signal strength. One other cool, neat thing here is a column called Gen, which is the Wi-Fi generation. And I'm using a Wi-Fi 6 access point, so you can see a 6 there for my SSID at the top. And you could see other SSIDs, whether they're using Wi-Fi 5, Wi-Fi 4, or something else, possibly older, or it just couldn't be determined by my Wi-Fi adapter. Now, if we tap on one of these networks, there's a neat one here called Millennium Falcon. It's not mine, and I didn't click on the right one because it's constantly moving. But if we look at this SSID, there's the AP name, the vendor that it's using, and the RSSI, SNR, all the different requirements that we've set, what channel it's operating on, and what are those data rates and spatial streams. You could even see the BSS ID. So you're pretty much just looking at the different SSIDs and viewing their RSSI in real time. Now, if we go back and look at some of these other pass-fail indicators, SNR is looking pretty good. So you can see on the SNR column, if it's green, it's meeting that requirement profile back at the voice and data, which happened to be 20 dB. And so if we went back in here, you can see that some of these SNR values are below 20 dB. Now, if we go back and look at the channel quality, I am failing on the channel quality. It says poor, but if you tap on it, we can't really see why it is a poor channel quality, why I got that. Maybe it is because I have two APs, but it's green. So it's not very clear here. It could be maybe on the 2.4 section where possibly my SSID falls into one of these channels where there's too many APs where it's red. That could be the reason why. But on 5 gigahertz, it looks pretty clean. So you can see a real-time view, including the utilization that is being picked up here. And I'm currently operating at 20% utilization. And if I tap on that, you could see what the utilization looks like in real time. Now I want to show you the really neat part of Ekahau Analyzer, and that's the spectrum analysis view. And so here we can get high resolution real-time view of the spectrum. And in this case, we have it separated out between 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. The one thing that I don't see here is how I could identify if there is any interference. There's no interference identification done here, where maybe I'm hitting some Bluetooth interference, or maybe there's some sort of video monitor happening here. I can't tell what that interference is, but you can get a sense of how strong that signal is and what the duty cycle is just by looking at this. And this is all done by the sidekick here that's collecting all that information. What you can then see is the 5 gigahertz here. If we go there, you can see that the 5 gigahertz spectrum surrounding me here is pretty clean. I am operating on channel 149 and 153, and you could see the channel utilization is a little bit higher there. And that's because I'm displaying my iPad. I'm sharing it with my Mac. That's how I'm able to share this screen here with you. I'm sharing it wirelessly. And so a lot of that traffic is being sent over wireless to my Mac, which is on the wired network. So there's a good look, a quick summary of Ekahau Analyzer and how you could use this to consolidate maybe some of the tools that you have, go out into an environment and quickly analyze the quality of your Wi-Fi network, and also be able to troubleshoot with a spectrum analyzer. So Ekahau Analyzer, it is very basic. It provides you with a high resolution view of the spectrum in real time, but again, it lacks some of that interference identification or detection. I didn't see anything there. I couldn't find a way to export any of my findings. My only option was to take multiple screenshots, and I couldn't say where I was on a floor plan, for example. So I couldn't add any notes or comments if I wanted to put that in there. I guess one way to record some of this data is to possibly record the screen. So there is your quick look. Would you find Ekahau Analyzer as a useful tool in your Wi-Fi toolkit? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you.